I'm often surrounded by.
The entire system is surrounded by freaking idiots.
Yeah. So I'm here today with somebody who you all might know as a multi-talented producer. You probably heard songs such as Commas, Blasé, Go Shorty. there's so many records. Honest by Future, like there's so many records. But I'm blessed to know this man as a friend and a brother. And honestly, if you are a producer, he has the most famous drum sound, literally, in rap/trap music history. My brother, DJ Spinz.
Hey, my brother. How you doing today?
I'm doing good, brother.
All right.
Man, well, first off, I just want to give you your flowers. I feel like you don't get enough credit for just how much you've done, how you've shaped even the sound of music in Atlanta, and how you were like on the forefront of even Future's come up, of like hit records,
Right.
Just, man, how did it start for you? Where did music come from? Or where'd you grow up? You grew up in Augusta, right?
Yep. Augusta, Georgia. First of all, thank you.
Of course, man.
Yeah, I came from Augusta. I was born and raised. My grandmother was a singer.
Okay.
So, obviously I grew up in church, like, a lot of other young musicians, who are aspiring to be something. And the other thing about it was my grandma and my uncle owned a supper club. So it literally, from the time I was 0, like I was around music and I was in like a club atmosphere.
Right.
So I think that kind of gave me an edge, and also kind of like bared on me more of what I wanted to do earlier than maybe a lot of people. It was like, I feel like that might have been my first passion. I was like, man, every time I go, I want to go down to the famous door so, I can go see Casanova. He was the DJ. And he wasn't like scratching on 1200s or nothing like that, no real DJing, but he was like controlling the vibe of the party or the club at night. So I really was like intrigued by that. And, obviously since he was a friend of the family, I got the privilege to be introduced to a real DJ by the time I was 0.
Right.
Like as soon as I was still in hospital blankets, I was at the club. So like that's kind of like how I started, like in all throughout my elementary school, middle school, and high school. It just kind of got intensive, or it got more intense as the time went along. So,
right.
It was an idea, and I remember I used to stack up. Back then, it was CDs.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd stack them up, like how he would have them stacked up. It'd be like, I'd take my mom's CDs and put them in like genres. So it's like, okay, the R&B's over here, the soul over here, the blues over here. And, I was DJing at home on like our little 5-disc CD carousel.
CD changer.
And then, man, look, I found a way to get 2 of them. So I really thought I was doing something. I had like, rigged it up to play both of them. But yeah, like that kind of was like, I was like, okay, I want to do music. Like in some way, shape, or form. I didn't know it was produced, and I didn't know anything about producing back then, but I just knew that I wanted to do music from that.
That's wild. It always starts early, man. And the fact that you also, like, your mom was like cool with like breeding that, you know what I mean? And like helping, getting you the CD changers and shit, you know what I mean? So you could really, it's an investment, bro.
Shout out to moms. But it didn't come without, everything that you would think it would come with. It wasn't just like, oh, okay, here you go.
Right.
It was like, no, grades are first.
Right.
And, everything else. So actual turntables, like I remember, I think it was 6th grade. I asked my mom, I was like, man, I really want some turntables. And she was like, turntables? Like, like everybody's trying to play football. Everybody's in the streets or whatever they're doing. And I'm like, I just want some turntables. Like, can you please? The ones that I wanted obviously were like out of her price range.
Right.
But she did see it fit to get me like a starter pair. I think I was in like 7th grade. And by that time I was DJing like some school events, you know, stuff like that. Little parties here and there, like a cousin has a cookout, or cousin have a little wedding, or any engagement. I was like starting to offer my DJ services. So that, that was like my start, I guess you could say. And also my uncle did give me a spot at the club one night, because the DJ couldn't come. Now imagine, it's like, I'm like a kid. Like, I think I might have been 11 or something. Like, and I had to play for like, the crowd of the club was like old people, like 50s. Like, I'm playing blues and soul and disco, like, and, not knowing at the time, like, how deep, like, that would put my bag. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, even just being embedded with all those songs, because even when it wasn't a club at nighttime, it was a day bar. So it was like a side. My grandma would sell soul food during the day, 10 to 6 or whatever. And on the other side, it's pool tables, it's a liquor store, it's a bar. They playing music all day. So like, for me being through both sides, I'm hearing these songs. Like, it could be Bobby Blue Bland songs that I've heard literally to this day 1,000,000 times. Right. Marvin Cease, like all of that old stuff. Like, it was just embedded in my head, and I didn't even know what was going on. So, just with that, and being able to go do a night of old people, like, it was kind of like,
especially at that age. How old are you? You're talking,
I was like 11.
Yeah, bro. What? Like, for you to have that catalog in your head that early, that's crazy. Because that's how my parents were. Like, I have older parents, so like, they was listening to Motown or the OJs, like that. That's what I grew up on. Like, I discovered rap more so through my brother, right? Because he was older. He's like 8, 9 years older. And then once I got older, like we were talking about the other day, my first unedited rap album was Word of Mouth.
We had the same. Was that your first rap album?
No, my first unedited was Word of Mouth. But I feel, which one came out first? The other one was Clips, Lord Willing.
Okay.
I had that early, but I want to say that Ludacris was the first unedited one I had that actually had cursing.
That was the first rap album I ever had in my life. I'll never forget it. Like, we went to an outlet, like to go shopping, and then I was like, Mom, let me get this. And they bought it for me, but it was the edited version. But it was crazy because we was talking the other day, and I'm like, we both memorized the whole CD. Like, I probably to this day still know every lyric from that CD.
And all the sketches.
Yes.
Like, that was, but that was a different time of just making, people built projects. Like, everyone uses the word project now. Like, I'm working on my project. Like, nah, man. Like, these were curated. All the celebrity producers or the big producers who were on there had a different sound. Like, we ain't heard another rollout from Timbaland.
You feel me? It was a work of art. The whole body
of work, man. Like,
missed that, man.
Yeah.
Like, even I was talking to somebody recently, and I was just telling them, like, I remember hearing songs on the radio and like begging my mom to take me to like Camelot, or like FYE came later, but just like, can I go to the store and get that single? Or I'm calling the radio station, like, please play it again. Cause you didn't have Spotify or YouTube to where you could just go play it as much as you want to. Like, I feel like that didn't happen until, LimeWire.
Oh, yeah, LimeWire, I guess. Yeah.
Where you own the song, you could play, or if you went and bought it. But like, they used to
MP3s, yeah.
Exactly. They used to sell singles, and I remember like vividly calling a radio station because it was a song I liked so much that I'm like, please play that again so I can hear it. And then I'm recording you on my little tape over here on my boombox.
You're like, I'm gonna have this record.
You feel me? It's crazy.
That's wild. So your whole palette was basically oldies until that Word of Mouth album, damn near, huh?
Pretty much, and I was keeping up with whatever was going on at the time. It might have been Lil Jon was coming in then, and even at the club, like I feel like the main part of the club or the foundation was built around soul and blues,
Right.
but they kept up with, what was going on at the time too. So
Right.
I was abreast about that. And then it was, certain songs, you can't listen to that. It's talking crazy. But
That's funny.
all in all, I feel like it was just building up my musical catalog. And I'm just like so grateful for it. I didn't know what was happening at the time, but that contributed greatly to like
that exposure, man. That's what makes a great DJ in any situation. Like you said, like you can't control the vibe if you only know one genre.
Facts.
Because there's everybody in there knows more than one genre. Generally speaking, if you're trying to play certain kinds of places with certain kinds of people, you
need to be able to go where you need to go at any time.
Mm-hmm.
Be well versed.
Yeah, and further that journey. You know. So when I met you, you were fresh out of what was it, engineering school, right?
Damn. So I had finished by the time I met you, or was I in school?
Okay, so when you were DJing for Ninth Ward, backstory? We met because when I was signed to Jermaine Dupri, I was in the same rehearsal space as another artist he had named Ninth Ward. Shout out to Ninth Ward.
Shout out to Ninth Ward.
And he was signed to Nitty.
Shout out to Nitty.
And had you, because you had already known Nitty prior to that, right?
Yeah, Nitty was one of the guys who, coming up to Atlanta, I had made a few relationships like via the internet,
right?
Before I, moved up, and Nitty was one of the guys who like looked out for me as soon as I got there. He just showed a lot of love. Actually, the first mixtape that I put out when I moved to Atlanta was with Nitty. So yeah, he was like, I got this artist named Ninth Ward. I want you, JD got a showcase. I want you to come through and spin for him. Woo, woo, woo. I'm like, hell yeah. You feel me? Like, I've been in the A 3 months. Like,
damn. Oh, so you were fresh out there.
Yes, I was fresh, like literally. So I don't remember the exact time of do you remember the year, you think?
Whew, that had to be 2005, 6?
Nah, it couldn't have been because I moved there.
Oh no, because
07.
You moved.
At the end of 07, because I graduated in 07. I graduated May.
I had my Sweet 16 by that point, right?
Yeah, because you 1 year younger than me.
Yeah, 2.
Okay,
so yeah, I feel because I know 07 I had my Sweet 16.
Okay, so yeah, it was probably 09.
No, I couldn't have been 09.
So you were still in Chicago at that point?
Yeah, I was just flying back and forth all the time. Because 09, that's why I moved out here.
Okay, so it probably was
it had
08, 07, 08.
07, 08, yeah.
Okay.
And then that's when we met. That's crazy. So yeah, we were in the same rehearsal space. And Ninth Ward was working on his show in one room, and I was working on my show in the other room. And then I run into this guy. He's like, "What's good, man? I'm Spinz." I'm like, "Oh, what's good, man?" I'm super cool. Still same thing it is now. Down to earth, not And I was all of 16.
We was the youngest cats in there.
Youngest people in there.
Maestro is the youngest by far. And I'm like, okay, this is all right. I can work with this. You know what I'm saying? Because you walk into these rooms where you don't know what's going on or what's gonna be before you. You walking into bigger spaces. It's just like,
right.
You walking on faith. But
right.
like, man, like it was one of the biggest blessings I could have ever had was meeting Maestro. Straight up, like this. I know we on the camera and shit, but this is my friend. This is my friend for real.
We've had literally since he's been here. I keep telling him we've done this podcast like 3-4 times because we'll just start talking, and we'll talk for an hour about just whatever the hell's going on, what we're thinking about, or how we're viewing the world, or past music, past entertainment, past any of that shit. But
Gotta keep the cameras on.
and that's the thing. Some people do, man, and we got to get better with that. We got to get better.
I tell myself that all the time.
We went on TikTok live the other day. You know, we're trying. We're trying. So
Very hard.
When I met you there, had you gone to school yet or no?
I think I was in school. So like
Okay.
I moved up there to go to school. I came in October of 07 and I finished in maybe October of 09.
Right.
So I went like 2 years straight through at the Art Institute, and it really was just my excuse to come to Atlanta. But
Because your mom was like, if you going up there, you better be doing something.
right, she said, I'm just not sending you to Atlanta to do music. Like, what do you think this is? But yeah, thanks, Mom. You feel me? Like, thanks for allowing me to go to the Art Institute and go to Atlanta.
But it's great too, because if you think about it, like, you know how to run Pro Tools. You know how to run. Like, there's things that you know how to do, and like, it's from a different era in class. Like, we were the tail end of like having to do shit a certain kind of way.
Yeah.
You know, like
I understand that manual processes.
because even I remember you were just DJing, and then you and I like got Logic around the same time. Bro, I have emails, which we will dive into later. I have emails from 08, bro. And it's, so that had to be when we met. So yeah, 08, 09, and it's like Spinz beat 30. And I'm like, this is like the 30th beat this man had made.
Oh man.
And it's so crazy to hear like how the trends have changed, and also just the learning curve. Like, we both was like, you don't even use Logic anymore, but we both was in Logic trying to figure it out, trying to make beats. But
yeah,
that journey's crazy.
Man, wouldn't trade it for anything. Like, it's, didn't know this is exactly where I was gonna end up, but like, I tell people a lot, like, my musical journey has literally been driven by only God and passion. Like, it wasn't necessarily that I just wanted to be big or remembered for nothing. Like, it was like, I just love music. Like, seriously, I love, like, I remember being on the bus. Like, people who rode the bus with me, they remember, like, bro, it's funny to think about it now, but like, when we would be going home from school, bro, I'd be acting like I had turntables in my lap, like spinning records like in my brain, bro. Like, it's crazy, like, and when I got to Atlanta, I was 18 when I graduated from my high school. So I had been DJing for real for like 7 years, 8 years. You know what I'm saying?
10,000 hours already in the bag.
Yeah. So like, when I got put in the first club I DJ'd in Atlanta was called Mariachi. Okay. And man, when I got put in that club, shout out to Scream and KIP, Southern Bread, it was like, man, like, I feel like I had like put in a cheat code, because it was like, it was a little adjustment from Augusta to Atlanta, but it was like, I was like really excelling. Like, it was like, I was smashing it like, fast. And I attribute that to, my hours of work before, but it just was like, damn, like, DJing, I don't even have to think about it no more. Right. So that's how I feel like production came into play, because it was like, okay, I'm doing tricks, I'm popping wheelies, I'm doing 780s, 720s, you feel me? Like, I'm off the top rope, I'm doing all kind of shit. So I was like, all right, let me just dabble with trying to make a beat or something, And not gonna lie, like, yeah, you got the receipts, boy. Them beats was trash. Like,
what's funny though? Even when I went back to listen to like just filter through some of them to play, I'm not gonna lie though, bro. It's I won't lie, and we've all heard it. You hear some people's first beats, and they're just trash. Like, they don't make any sense whatsoever.
Okay.
It's there. Like, it's like, oh, if this is the first few beats this motherfucker's making, he gets what's supposed to happen. Right. He just hasn't figured out sound selection. He just hasn't figured, like, those kinds of things. Yeah. And same when I listen to my old beats, it's the same thing. But it's like the chords make sense. the melodies make sense. They resolve. It's not like you're tone deaf. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like but man, I've heard some first beats, bro. And you'd be like,
oh shit.
like this don't even make, like, what is this? It's just noise, you know?
Yeah.
So you got with Hood Rich DJs, was that in that era?
Yeah, so like I said, Nitty was one of the guys who looked out for me when I came up, and Scream, because I had a sidekick, as you can remember. So I was making plays in class on my sidekick. I had a few pals that, you know, I had built relationships with while I was in high school. And I knew Techniques. I knew who's 2 Chainz's manager. He was managing Travis Porter, you know, Street Execs. And then I knew Scream and Rip. And, you know, it's really been all love with all of those guys, but Scream really kind of took me under his wing, and like I said, he gave me my first gig, and he just was always kind of like a big brother to me, you know, like knowing that I'm, you know, meeting my mom, and, you know, my mom's nervous, like, okay, well, I'm sending my son to a big city. But yeah, Scream always looked out, and he was also like a pioneer in the mixtape game at the time, and I was doing mixtapes. So between, you know, him giving me shots in clubs around here or around Atlanta, he gave me a shot in the mixtape game as well. And you know, his demographic was, you know, a little bit older than mine. I was coming in a little bit younger, and I actually kind of got discovered by Scream from an R&B mixtape. Like,
really?
Strange.
Wait, what was it?
I did a T-Pain mixtape called A Thin Line Between Love and Pain when I was in high school. That shit got me, back when magazines was out, that shit got me in the Source magazine, XXL. Like, that was the one that, like, okay, niggas was hitting me up like, hey, bro, who is this kid? Like,
damn.
Yeah, but like, he gave me a shot, and, you know, they had a circle and a network, you know, because back then it was about brick and mortar. It was about, you know, having store relationships and your product being seen. So, you know, I feel real grateful to have, you know, came right into that. And, you know, that excelled my growth too, like being able to do mixtapes with a lot of the artists that I met along my journey coming up in that, and that, you know, it was like, okay, we had an outlet. And
it's funny because you're, you know, and once again, not because the camera's rolling, you're a genuine person. So it's just, and you know, usually in this game, that's not how people move. So I even wonder, and this is even a deeper question, how did you navigate that part of it? Like, how did you build so many relationships with so many, and I won't even say the right people, because I know you built so many with things that you thought was going to go somewhere and it didn't. And then some things you probably like, damn, this went that far, you know? But how did you organically, because I know you don't force shit either. And I think that's what it's more like. You not in somebody's inbox 15 times because you like, it must not be meant to be. I'm gonna go over here like that. I feel you, because I'm the same way. But it makes me wonder, like, how were you doing that, and how were you so successful at even in Augusta, building these relationships, like, and finding these people?
Well, Augusta, you know, it was a smaller market, so it wasn't a lot going on. And then I ended up doing radio in Augusta. So that was another blessing that, like, I feel like I attribute a lot of my, you know, success, my path to God, for sure, you know, and just trying to be aligned with him. I didn't know what I was doing back then, but like, in retrospect, when I look at it, like, it's just aligning with my passion. And I feel like when I did that, I ended up in the right places, you know. It's not to say I didn't find wrong places, but I could feel when I was in the wrong place, and I got out of there quick. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, the radio thing was like, so I told you, my mom got me the cheap turntables. So I found out that the radio station, they would broadcast every Friday from the high school games, but they had the CDJs.
You said, oh, man.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, man, y'all should have never let me find out y'all had these. So once I found that out, Mom, every Friday, wherever the radio station's at, that's where we're going. Like
That's funny.
so she would take me and shit, man. I was a young dude coming around the radio station. They let me get around and, just ask questions, which I was grateful for. Then eventually, inch by inch, they started letting me play on the CDJs on the commercial breaks. Which one day I did not know, but it turned into, okay, today we're going to give you 30 minutes on the air. Don't play anything dirty. Being prepared and man, he gave me a 30-minute set, smashed it. After that, he was like, I'm going to give y'all a slot every weekend, 5 to 6, 1 hour on Saturdays, as long as y'all do good in school.
Wow.
And that started my radio journey. So like with that, it was like, okay, now I'm a 16-year-old on the radio, Augusta small, like everybody knows me. You know what I'm saying? And radio is a lot more important back then too. But that was kind of how I broke in Augusta.
Right.
But Atlanta, it was like timing, you know what I mean? It was like timing, being around the right people and having those outlets. So like the people that I met, so like Travis Porter, who was like the first group that I made something that I saw something from. Like I saw like, okay, we made a song, but it's buzzing. It's like, okay, they're telling me, boy, I'm seeing a video. This song went crazy at the club across the street last week, and I'm like, oh shit, we made that in my living room, just playing around, So that, it didn't happen immediately, but like when I saw that happen, I was like, oh, okay, something is connecting on the production side, but other than that, I was just in school and just DJing and just doing my mixtapes,
Right.
But yeah, I think it was just timing, like just being in the right place at the right time. And what I tell a lot of people about art, I truly believe it's a time capsule. So like it's just capturing, it's like printing your environment. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So like if I make a song today or whatever, it's just like a culmination of events, or like it's me trying to verbally paint my experiences.
Right.
So that's what even through beats or whatever, like, I feel like that was the same thing. Even with the songs we were making, it was like, this is just what we outside doing. Silly. It might not have made no sense, but that has always kind of been like a thing for me. Like when I do that, when I like capture the moment, I've seen like success.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Rather than worrying about the success of something or this should be like this or woo woo woo, I'm just like, okay, nah, like just savoring the goods, the bad, and just print. You know what I mean? That's what I think art is. No. But it could be whatever you want it to be. But yeah, that's what I think.
That is, I mean, that's where the truest stuff comes from. That's where the truest books, the greatest poetry, the greatest music, it's all, there's a million songs about heartbreak, but like when someone puts it into their personal experience,
you can feel that.
It's different.
Yeah.
Ain't no sunshine when she's gone.
He felt that.
That nigga, man. That's a different kind of. So the Travis Porter Ghost Shorty was like the first buzzing record you had, and then from there, what was your next thing that like took you to that next level?
It was a blur, bro. Like, Travis. So we had a couple records that were like doing something, and another thing I want to attribute to like that portion of my career. Making music and like being in the Atlanta scene in the club at that time was special, because if you go to Atlanta right now, you're not gonna experience the same thing. Right. It's totally different. But we literally like, okay, let's say I had class 5 days a week. I remember this. So the first gig that I got was on Mondays. I had an 8 o'clock class Monday morning.
Mhm.
It was like from 8 to 12. Then I had a little break. Then I had another class from 4 to 6. I had a class from 6 to 10. My crib was, I used to have to catch the train. I would take the train from school back to my crib. I probably get to my crib about 10:45. I would shower. I would get in my car. I would go to Marietta. It was about 25 minutes away, 25 minutes away. Go DJ, come back, and the next morning I had an 8 o'clock class. So
Sheesh.
but although I was tired, the energy kept me going. It was something special going on in the scene at that time. It just was, it was exciting, as it progressed on, we outgrew that club. We was packing that out. It probably could hold 300 people soaking wet. Was packing that shit out every Monday. So that was the club I met. So the promoter, I said KIP, that was K Camp. K Camp, I met him in my first gig. He was the promoter's artist. Okay. And K Camp, one of the records we broke in that club, we used to break records. Not okay, you just dropped something, it's on the front of Apple Music. It's no, it just got broke. Everybody in the club no, that's going. They chose it. It was peer reviewed. It wasn't okay, it's just 5 people in your camp like it and now the world's supposed to like it.
Now we're gonna press a button.
Yeah, that, we'll get back to that after a while. But it was literally okay, we planned it and no, it could be people who came from anywhere, they're doing the dance to the song. It's, we're seeing hits getting made, from nothing. These wasn't they came in with $1 million or even the shit. They might have had $100 to their name, maybe. Right. But that raw reaction, you can't fake that. Mm-hmm. So that was going on. Southern Bread was also Soulja Boy's DJ at the time.
That's funny because while you're saying all this, I was thinking Soulja Boy. The whole time I was Soulja Boy was a prime example of that.
Yeah.
It was just peer reviewed and everybody was yes.
Yeah. The people chose it. So that helped, So we had K Camp coming out of there. It was another group in Atlanta back then called the Rich Kids. They would be there pretty much every week. Travis Porter, they was pulling up. Now just think about all these rappers pulling up to one club. Yeah. Gucci Mane came. Soulja Boy definitely came because of Southern Bread.
Right.
This is the club where I met Waka Flocka.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Waka would come and they would, him and Chad and Dunk, rest his soul, they would come and fucking throw niggas through tables and et cetera, you know what I'm saying? But I've developed a relationship with him. He wasn't rapping at the time. Waka was Gucci security. So
that's wild.
You feel me? So I'm knowing them because, Gucci's doing his thing. This is before Waka started rapping. So he just, when he get off time, he trying to go to he having a good time. Mm-hmm. I'll never forget one time he brought me here. He's like, boy, Spinz, play that. I did this last night. It was, oh, let's do it. You know what I'm saying? So it's this concentration of people that we had,
that's wild.
In this, area, it just turned out to be beautiful. So after we outgrew that, then we went down the street to this club called Texano. So versus 300 a night, we could do 900, 1,000 people a night. You know what I'm saying? And you can
packing that out,
packing that bitch out, going crazy. And this is when we had characters the futuristic movement was in full swing. So J Money, Young LA, Travis Porter still doing their thing, Roscoe Dash,
yeah.
Rich Kids was still doing their thing, Schoolie, it was, it was just developing and getting bigger. Right. So everybody, we all know each other. So had a great time there, and I feel like we might have made Go Shorty or something after one of the I think it happened after Texano. So like the thing was it'd be like I DJ and then at the end of the night, shit, everybody probably end up going to my crib or like, you know, me and my friends and shit, the after party at the crib.
Right.
I always had like how you got it set up in here, like just a mic and a, you know, studio set up with no booth. But
just go.
Yeah, and so we can get the job done, and that's how my first records was made. That's
wild.
Go Shorty Go was made. That's how Get Naked was made. And Travis Porter had Hotel. Roscoe Dash, Sexy Girl Anthem, which is still crazy to this day. So it's like all of those happened in my living room, in my 1-bedroom apartment. Like I think,
is that the one that I came to when you picked me up?
It might have been. Like, was it super small?
It was small. And you had all the Ciroc bottles lining the top.
Oh, yeah, the graveyards. Absolutely. Well, see, so look, all of my cribs have had graveyards, multiple graveyards. Like, it really got bad. Like, I'm better now. Like, I'm like reformed. I'm doing way better.
You don't even drink like that no more.
Yeah, man. Look, hey, man, testimony. You feel me? Look how far I've come.
Very true. Very true.
But I remember it got to a point, bro, like when I was living in the condo, like we would have to take carts like every 3 to 4 months, like filled like 2 and 3 level carts of bottles every 3 to 4 months, bro. Like it down to the trash can, bro. Like
living it up.
That's why maybe that attributed to me saying it was all a blur. But we had a good time.
Oh, I believe it.
You know?
I believe it. And in that era, because even when I was in Atlanta, that was, like you said, it had to be like 08, well, all the way from 05, and then I kept coming back in between all the way up to 08. And then, it was a different energy. It was a different era. I mean, even if you look at the people who were popping, them Franchise Boys and like, who else was in that era? Everybody you just named, but I'm trying to think of just other staples, like some of these people you don't even.
It was fun. D4L.
D4. What?
You know? And see, like when I was saying how like Scream
Crime
had that.
Up.
You feel me? All of those were Scream people. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, he had the age that was right before me. So D4L, Franchise Boys, you know what I'm saying? All of the street artists, Shawty Low, you know, Tip, everybody, Rocco, you know, that's all. So I was blessed to come in, you know,
that area,
and everybody, I'm going everywhere with Scream. Yeah, this my little homie right here, the Spinz. So in turn, I met all of these artists. You know what I'm saying?
That's wild. And you backing it up too with your sets and.
But see, Scream, I gotta shout him out again. Scream was the first person to like get somebody to rap on my beats. Like Travis Porter and them came later. I was just trying to get my skill up better. But like I said, when I was first making beats, I was like, man, these shits is trash. But he would come over to my dorm sometimes and he would be like, or like the first crib I had, well, it was kind of like a dorm. I had a roommate before I got my first crib.
Right.
And he'd be like, nah, these are, like, I ain't gonna lie, these sound pretty good. Like, I'd take you with me, you know, when I go to sessions or whatever, and it would, you know, play them for some people. And the first person to rap on my beat ever was Gorilla Zoe. Second person to ever rap on my beat was Titty Boy, 2 Chainz.
That's, you know what's funny? One of those beats,
You got it.
it says Zoe.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I was thinking, is it Gorilla Zoe? That's wild.
Yeah, it's first person to ever rap on my beat. Like,
respect.
yeah.
Shout out to Gorilla Zoe. Man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So in between that, and you know, from like literally from 2011 to 2015, what year did you end up on everybody's hard drive?
You mean like you talking about
For the Spinz 808? Like, even how did that happen? Did somebody clip it out of one of your sessions or something?
Man, I don't know, bro. Like,
and did you do shit to the 808 that you was like, yeah, this is mine?
Yeah, like I was, you know, perfectly concocting this evil, diabolical formula that I knew would take over the world and would be the Spinz 808. Nah, bro. In all seriousness, I had the Spinz 808 given to me. You know, like
Gotcha.
I got a pack one time from Sunny Digital, and it like I was used to it because you know it was a thing. Like you know, when you're starting to produce, you come online and you see a Timbaland kit. You know, it's like
Yeah.
okay, great. It's a Timbaland kit. It probably does have some of the sounds he used. I don't know if they clipped him from a
Not
record.
all of them, but yeah.
So I was like, okay, like I had hits out at the time, and I'm like, okay, so somebody is trying to find the 808 that I used or whatever. You
Right.
know, and yeah, it just became a thing, and it got to a point. It's like everywhere I go, like you're Spinz 808. And I'm like, man, yeah, like you know, shit. I'm glad it's helping you, but I'm like, shit.
I'm glad it's helping you.
Yeah, like I never put out a drum kit ever in my life. I did the producer grind interview, and that, you know, that was like I feel like the biggest thing they wanted to ask me, and I'm like, bro, like. I can't lie about it. I'm like, I haven't put out, like if I put out a kit and it's like, this is the 808 out of the kit that I put out. Nah, but it, you know, it is an 808 that I had used before a lot. And maybe people were just modeling it or saying that that's the sound of the 808 that I use or something. You know, I don't know. But
man,
it seems like it's been helping a lot of people.
When I tell you niggas have put clippers on it, distortion, OTT'd it, reversed it forward, like man, it is one of the if you've ever made a trap beat, it's there. Like it's incredible. And I've been telling this nigga for a long time, he needs to make a drum kit. He needs to make a drum kit because there's also just a bounce. Like you have a certain bounce to your shit that like other producers just don't have, or it's unique to you.
Right,
you know what I mean? And that's another thing that I feel in this zeitgeist of just like the same trap beat over and over again. Like we're losing the fun because everything's dark.
Yes, man.
And then we're losing actual bounce. Like it's just very, you know what it is. It's not making you move. It's not.
Yeah, I want to feel the emotion. And the biggest thing for me is the first thing you said is the fun. Like, because even when I was mentioning earlier, like, okay, Waka used to come to the club and they would beat niggas up. But like, when I play a Waka Flocka record, it's entertaining. Like, I feel like I'm watching WWE with Stone Cold and fucking The Rock. Like, I need to feel that. Like, it's not much depth to a lot of songs or trap songs that I hear today. And it's, you know, I don't, you know, want to be that old guy, but I if it's anything that I could give somebody, it's just like, man, have fun with it. Like I feel like that's where the gems come from. Like, you know, just not taking it so serious. It's music. I feel like music is supposed to, you know, take people places. And, you know, I like to enjoy myself, man. And like, I like to party. People of all ages, of all like races, creeds, like they like to enjoy music, you know? And like, man, I just don't want to speak down on a lot of stuff, but I want to encourage like, please, like if you're making music, have fun with it and be lighthearted about it, you know? And just, I believe that everything comes full circle. So just try to, you know, put some good out there, man. That's all I can say about that. For real.
Because that energy that you're putting out there.
Yeah, man. Like you know, like I said, it's been stuff here since the beginning of time, like, you know, it's gonna keep going on, you know, shooting or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
I can't tell you not to rap about anything. Do your thing, but if it's from Spinz, just make it entertaining for me. Like, this is the music business, this is music entertainment business. Like, I want to be entertained, and a lot of this it's the same thing. It's like, I'm stuck in monotony when I go to the trap world. Right. You know, I don't expect to be entertained. And back then, it was the opposite. It was like, you know,
extremely entertaining.
We making music to, you know, get the women involved and not. Now I kind of see a lot of music is kind of like, it's less collaborative between the sexes. It's like, okay, the girls over here on day one, you know, talking shit about the niggas. And then the niggas is on this side doing what they do, you know. Yeah. But it's not like like I asked a young guy not too long ago. I was like, when I used to go to the club, and this is my old nigga topics, but when I used to go to the club, like I was going to come home with a lady or something. Like, you feel me? Like, at the end of the night, I'm coming home with something. Or, you feel me? I'm going to win.
I'm at least planting a seed. I'm getting a number, something.
Yeah. So, like, I'm like, damn, what songs are they going to play now to like, help me achieve my objective? Like, when I listen to the radio, I'm like, I couldn't imagine a girl dancing on me to any of this music. And when I go out, I don't see any dancing of the opposite sexes. And I'm like, yeah, this ain't my kind of party.
Well,
like,
no, because most people don't want to dance. Then on top of that, you got when the female songs come on, the songs they love, they're basically saying fuck you.
Yeah.
So and then when your songs come on, they're basically saying fuck her. So it's just like, what is the ones that we come together on, or that's once again fun.
Yeah,
like,
man.
I always say this. I feel like the last real fun records we had was like, or artists was Ray Shrimmer.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Like
sure.
they was like,
coming with
no
it.
Flex Zone. You know what I mean?
Somebody
no
come
Tight.
get her.
Yeah, somebody come get her. Like these are just fun records, and it's not. It's not extremely derogatory. It's not all about, because that's the other part of it that kills me. Is just, there's no other race of people who make music about killing their own people.
Man,
there's
say
no
that
other
again.
There's no other race of people who do this.
Say that again, Maestro.
There's no other race of people who make music about killing their own people.
Man,
zero. No one else does it.
Message.
But we've fallen into this trap of you get more stripes if you do that. And it doesn't hurt anybody but us. And then we have the audacity at times to be angry when we're stereotyped.
Man.
And it's like,
does that sound like insanity to you?
It quite possibly could be doing the same thing over and over again.
And expecting different results, right?
Exactly.
Crazy.
I don't understand why or how, because I always make this joke, and I'm just like, imagine going back to the 40s or 50s to like the African Americans then and being like, check this out. We gonna make some music in the future, and it's all gonna be about us calling our own women hoes and bitches and blah blah. They look at you like, brother, you sound crazy. Don't know black people want to hear that nonsense.
Sliding on the ops.
Who are you?
That's your man's around the corner.
That's what I'm saying. Who are you? It just doesn't make sense. And on top of that, who's pumping the money into it?
Man, I also say this sometimes too when I get in conversations with people. I feel like if a lot of people could see who prints the money, like who like really like control, because it's like when you print something from your computer, like you just how many copies do you want? It's literally the same thing. Like, so you're taking out, you almost performing a genocide on your own people for some printer paper.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy to me. Like, I mean, I don't get it the other way. Like, yeah, that's crazy to me. Like, nah, no way.
And I always tell people, I'm like, it's crazy when you look at it too, how we judge. Like, in the hood, you're not cool if, say, there's a rapper who parents were upper middle class on some Chance the Rapper shit. They put some money into him. Kid ends up popping, blows up, ends up being a rap star, right?
Right.
Niggas won't respect that. But they'll respect the guy who didn't have nobody around and then goes and gets money from a large corporation, a white person, and then gets an advance, which he has to pay back with interest. But they'll be like, oh, no, he did it right. But you see, just how our like, why is that even our thought process? Like, oh no, it should be better the other way. But people are looking at that and like, nah, he don't know like what it's really like to struggle, or they don't know what it's like to.
Yeah, I think people a lot of times can only identify with what they've seen before or what they, are familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
So, if it's somebody coming up with a similar story that, or a story that they've looked into or kind of like idolized, they'll, they won't look to other stories. They won't look to see if it's another way to be done. It's like, okay, I saw it being done this way, so this is the way.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm always telling people to expand your horizons. Like even me, like I don't know everything. But I'm always trying to learn. So you just got to keep an open mind and man, we have a lot of tools today that we didn't have 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. Like, I'm a YouTube fanatic. Like, I spend so much, and
Yes,
I'm sure I'm sure you do too. Like I spend so much time on YouTube because it's these different rabbit holes I can just go down and like gain knowledge on whatever the topic may be, And not to say YouTube is the only source, but it is a source that's free.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's a lot of stuff you can learn that you might not have known before. A person wasn't going to pick up an encyclopedia and, put a bunch of facts together from reading and shit like that. So now all you have to do is, search a couple things that'll even suggest stuff for you.
But think of the things we choose. That's the thing. Bro, you could read every book in the world on this device. Every book in the world, right?
Right.
What do we choose to do? We choose to scroll TikTok and and make Instagram. It's like I always say this too. Look at the world, man. Think of how much beautiful shit there is in the world. Think of how many things there are in the world, right? And usually all we want to do is take a picture of
Right.
us.
Well, okay. I feel like yes, but there are people who are not on TikTok like me.
Right, there are, but it's just it's just the fact that this is our majority.
Oh yeah.
And the fact that this is our majority doesn't.
Well, welcome to America.
Yeah, and that's true too because it's not this way everywhere. That's here.
It is what it is. But just even having the option, because people are gonna pick their paths, they're gonna do what they do. But like just having the opportunity and the like, it's right there for you. Like all you have to do is look for it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's not like the knowledge is being hidden from you.
That's true.
You can go out there and get it.
They will push down some things in the search results, but most things, yeah.
For sure, and especially, if you search long and deep enough for it, like you go under there, you're gonna come up with some treasure.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true.
So I try to encourage that. Just add food to your bank, like consistently.
So as far as music, what is it that you're excited about making now, and what is it that you want to really do next with your sound? I know you have Cashmere Collective, obviously. We worked on some stuff for that.
Yeah, that's what I want to. Yeah, I want to talk about that for sure.
Yeah, talk to me about it,
man. Like Cashmere Collective, it's a lo-fi or, well, you know what? It's a art project that I started about 4 years ago, and it started as kind of like a radio station because it was a lot of music that I was listening to on a daily basis. And the music, it just like made my day go so much smoother. Like, I could be having a bad day, a rough day, a chill day, a good day. Anytime, like I just put on my playlist, it's just everything is cool. Like I could be cleaning up the house, I could be doing anything. Like I could be talking to somebody and it's playing in the background. So I got the notion in me to share it. I was like, I want other people to be able to like access this resource too. Right. So I started, and it really struck me because one of my friends, he kind of introduced me to lo-fi, if that, if you will. But it was like these songs on a mix. I think it was from Chill Cow back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like these two songs in this mix he was like, he really liked. And I was like, yeah, they are smooth. And like, I just went down the rabbit hole and I was
Right.
like, I started finding more and more songs. And I'm like, I would see 24-hour streams on, on YouTube and stuff. And I would listen to them, but I could never like listen to them all the way through. I'd be like it'll be a song that come on and I'm like, ugh.
Right. I know what you mean. Yeah.
So I started to build like a playlist of like the songs that I like. And then I started to broadcast it. Had some YouTube copyright issues, although I wasn't making any money from it anyway.
Still crazy.
Right. But yeah, I had copyright issues and they were like consistent. So I'm like, man, like I really, because I could be, somewhere, I would just turn on my stream.
Right. Why
like,
not?
It is like anytime, it's instant happiness for me. So when they took that down, I was like, okay, I'm not going to give up on Cashmere. I really love this. And, my production style has started to like venture off into, more soothing or like, sounds that made me feel good. And it was leaning more towards the stuff that I was listening to. I was being influenced by it. So, I think it was 2019, like I put out like my first like actual original production under the Cashmere Collective. So I kind of got into a rhythm with like just making the kind of music that I want to hear. Cause I would also, making beats for people, like send me a pack and this rapper, So I remember I used to stress myself out about sending people packs. I gotta make 10 beats or something to send. And it was crazy because I might make the 10 beats and send a pack, but I would never go back and listen to those beats.
Facts.
Ever.
I see what you mean.
So, I kind of sat down and I just, had a heart to heart. I'm like, I shouldn't be making a lot of stuff that I don't like to hear.
Right.
And that fueled me even more into, what I like to hear and more Cashmere Collective stuff. So my partner, he came in, Terrell, produced by SOS. And he kind of had the same type of vision and he was doing his thing. He had rebranded.
Right.
And I told him about Cashmere. He was like, man, that's perfect. That's like what I'm on. And he came in and it's a guy named Blake and who was helping him out a lot. And we basically kind of like just took on the responsibility as a collective project. And we've been releasing for 2 years straight, going on 3 now.
Yeah. So
man, it's been like magical for me, like because you have different goals in life, and like I've achieved some of mine. Like I have went platinum quite a few times. Cool. Like I've gotten the accolades. I've gotten the ASCAP awards and stuff like cool. But now my happiness and satisfaction comes from like peer reviews and like hearing that something that I created or I put together helped somebody else how it helped me. So like I'll go or, I have the Cashmere Collective IG on my page, but we get comments pretty much every day of like how this, and it's not like we're telling them to comment. It's like people are like coming completely out and just saying, oh my God, I put this on at work every day and it gets me through my day. This got me out of a dark place. This, like that is going platinum for me now. You know what I'm saying? So like,
and it's reaching people organically.
Yeah.
And in a deep place.
Yeah.
And I think because I never really knew that your whole story about growing up in growing up in the supper club and stuff like that. But it's funny because even looking at that, it's like the music now has ventured kind of full circle back to those vibes.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Smooth and it's yeah.
See, that's why I be thinking everything happens for a reason. Like when I'm there, I'm like, okay, like obviously when I was on the radio, I wasn't playing blues and stuff like that. But now I'm in my 30s. Man, if I wouldn't have had that foundation, I would have had to go back and get it.
Or try to figure it out late. And then it's not organic. And then it doesn't speak to you the same way.
Yeah.
That's what I worry about with a lot of kids who are getting into music now. It feels like because things prior to technology feel so archaic, they tend to not go back but a certain extent. Right. So it's like even the 80s to someone born in 2000 is like, why do I need to know anything from that? Like 90s R&B is as far back as they'll possibly go. Right. And they're not going to really know the names of most of those songs. So like going forward is just like what's going to mold the music of tomorrow if people aren't going back and listening to classic, you know?
Yeah, I think it needs to be preserved as much as it can be because it's a lot of gems, even that I find to this day, like in 90s and 80s music, like, man, there's so many gems. Yeah. Like I don't know what was going on. Like I was born in 89, but like, bro, like whatever was in the water or like what was going on in the world, like people were jamming.
They were and you got to remember you're coming fresh out of the 70s. So 70s, everyone's fucking tired of disco. No one wants to hear disco ever again.
Okay.
It's like literally because disco was the hottest shit beginning of the 70s. Then coming out of the 70s, people were like, no more disco. Then the synthesizers knew. So you got to remember that's just taking shit to a different level. Like, I think like polyphonic synthesizers are like new.
Okay.
And then cocaine. A lot of cocaine and quaaludes and shit like that.
Good dope.
Yeah, and then you got to remember like what year did like the TR-808 and 909?
That was in the 80s.
Yeah, I believe so. They're in that ballpark. So and then people are still playing real instruments with all of this going on.
Right.
So you're getting groove,
real
funk,
musicians.
Mm-hmm. And real musicians. Let's see, TR-808, it came out was manufactured by Roland between 1980 and 1983. So come on, man. Like you're getting technology that is like, that's like the difference between when people really started making music on computers. How like things just changed because it's, what do you mean I can get a LA2A in my computer? Like what? What are you talking about? Like I don't need to. Oh, wow, but then we got to track it out. No, there's no tracking it out. It's just in the like what? It's changing. No tape.
Man,
like come on, bro. Like
yeah, technology it always advances. It's just you wanna bring some, or I like to bring some of the old with me. It's like, okay, you got all the new shit out here, which is cool and fire, but yeah, I still got a little corner in the section of my back crate with that little secret secret dust. Yeah, I have to carry the magic fairy dust with me.
Nah, bro, because there's something like we were even talking about AI and all that kind of stuff. There's something about a human touch that and with old gear, there's something about the limitations.
Yeah.
And that's where I think some of the things we try to recreate now came from.
Necessity is the mother of invention. Mm. You don't have it, you figure it out. And sometimes it's better than the way it's done now. Mm. Yeah. So, I mean, I love like a lot of the stuff that you can do now. I honestly think we're in a period of like overload of like what we can do. Yeah. And I think it has to sit in a little bit, and then people are going to start doing great things with what we have now. It's just the rate of innovation has been like so rapid to where I think, creators have to sit with it a little bit and, explore it. And I really do expect further greatness to come. Even if we might feel like we're at a down point right now or a slow point, I expect it to still come. And this just might be my prediction, but that's how I feel. I haven't given up on the vibe.
Facts. Right now, what are the things that you're listening to that you would consider, if any, which I know there is some, but in the popular space, if there's any timeless music, in your opinion, being made right now, what would you consider? Or who are those people, or what are those songs?
Man, I listen to a lot of artists on a daily basis. A lot of them being like producers, maybe just like instrumentalists.
Right, yeah.
But and it's a few, vocal artists that I listen to from time to time. Rap wise, I haven't, been much into rap lately. But there are some people out there doing cool things. Like, I really appreciate, I tell people a lot of times on the rap side, I appreciate what Larry June has did over the last couple years. Just because, like I appreciate the positivity in his music. I appreciate the vibe of it. It's
Right.
real laid back, it's real smooth, and it's focused on minding your own business and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like getting yours and taking care of yours. Like that fits like my type of living.
And
Like
drinking your juices in the morning.
yeah,
being healthy,
fresh smoothies, you know what I'm saying? Don't check me, check the air quality. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
he's doing it right.
Yeah. Salute to him. And yeah, man, like other than that, like I've been like jazz artists, like it's crazy. I've been listening to Paul Hardcastle lately, and I know he's like old as hell, but like
What was the record you played me from him? And I was
Rainforest.
like, Rainforest.
Yeah, like
Going crazy with the 808.
you know what I mean? Like
Going
just
crazy.
but it's like
But stylistically, like so.
that's what I'm saying. Like for that record to be made in the 80s and it's popping up on my playlist. Actually, I have a couple other records that pop up more frequently. But like when I hear that, it's still like it feels timeless, like what you said. Like, and that's what I'm after. So like
Do, 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 do.
Yeah.
Do, 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 do,
yeah, like I want to study people who make timeless music. Like I was telling you, like the other day when I was just in here, I was listening to Outkast.
Right.
Like, and it's like it still feels super relevant. It's still a message that I get from it, from the vocals to the delivery to the mixing to the production. Like that, I want to study greatness. I want to study things that might have came out, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, and they maintain their, potency.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, so like I said, I listen to stuff that's out, but I don't frequent it because I haven't seen it stand the test of time. Not to say it won't, but it's just like, okay, I don't know how much time I have, so let me study the sure things.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's a great way of looking at it too.
Yeah. So like, yeah, man, that's what I be on. And to go back to the independent artists, it's a lot. Like, bro, I don't know what everybody's financial situation is, and maybe I'm just too much of a purist, but like it's a couple people that I listen to a lot, and I really appreciate the music you make. I don't care if you have 5,000 monthly listeners, 100 monthly listeners, 100,000, 50,000, 500,000. Some of you are making great music, and it's affecting my life. And I just, like, as a creator, I really just want to say thank you. And like, I'm grateful for like the music you're making, and please make more. I want to make more. You inspire me every day. Like, and I have a list of people. I don't want to like tell everybody now and then forget, but like my plan is to like tweet these people and just let them know, even if they don't see it today, it's just like, it needs to be on record. Like, it's a dude named, Freddie Joachim. I'm a big fan.
Oh yeah, you put me on to him.
Yeah, I'm a big fan, man. I listen to his beats all the time, like all the time. They make my life better. It's a couple guys in Atlanta I like. It's a guy named Creative. I don't know him, but he makes great music. Who else am I listening to? It's actually a couple dudes overseas who make, like, what I've noticed is like, you know, when it comes to like a lot of the Dilla type stuff, like people overseas have taken, you know, his legacy and like tried to further it and like really respect it more so than in the States. You know, you have like the core people, you know, like the OGs, the Questlove and Jazzy Jeff, you know, like the OGs who knew Dilla, like they do their thing, you know what I'm saying? But I'm noticing it's a very big thing overseas to like, these guys are like,
even up and coming, to do that.
And they're making like they're making good music. Like it feels good. You know, it's based on the Dilla type stuff, but it feels good. Like I would much rather listen to those beats than, you know, a lot of popular music. So keep doing y'all thing, man. Like I appreciate y'all. You know, if that means anything.
Man, listen, trust me, I know it means something though. Do you think that there's a chance of that style remix coming back?
Absolutely. I think it's here now.
Because I think that but in a mainstream way, because I think that it could. I just think that it needs the right artist to get on top of a record like that. Like I always said, like I would love to hear J. Cole on more like lo-fi type beats or things that have that kind of
So you
that
know,
would be.
It's crazy when I was talking about Freddie. So I think that's like one of his only placements is the J. Cole record, because to my knowledge, I guess J. Cole reached out. He heard the beat online and he was like, bro, because Freddie, he doesn't really like sell beats.
Right.
So he put it, I guess it was on one of his albums or something, and J. Cole heard it and he did the song, I think, what is it called? False Prophets?
Okay, yeah, he did the sample for that, because then he used the same instrumental with what was it, Joey Badass. I know what you're talking about. Yep. And but see, if we could just get a few more artists in that, because it's just like we always say, balance.
Yeah.
Everybody can't be on the side of the teeter. What is it called?
The seesaw.
The seesaw. Yeah, everybody can't be on this side of the seesaw. Like you need some people on this side, so people balance this thing on out. You
Absolutely.
know? And then it also, like you said, good music inspires.
Yeah,
it makes you want to do better.
And and another thing I want to say about that too, which is another reason I started doing the Cashmere Collective. Like I remember too, like let's just say you might make a crazy beat. And then you're like waiting. You're like, okay, I'm just using a person. It's just like Justin Bieber would sound amazing on this, but you don't know Justin Bieber, so it's like, okay, either something miraculous happens, and maybe that somebody you run into knows him and can make it happen, or that beat is just gonna sit on your hard drive and do nothing. So like with me now, it's like, I don't like to wait. Like, I want to just put it out in the atmosphere. If it doesn't meet the person who I thought it was for, then maybe it wasn't for them. But at the end of the day, I'm not signing the hard drive records. It's like all this shit, like man, it's got to get off. Like it's something on me that makes me feel like if I feel a certain type of way about a piece of music, I don't need to have it no more. The world needs to have it. It needs to be out of my hands and accessible. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I love dropping like beat tapes now, like, cause I catch vibes damn near every day. Like, I can't just be keeping all this shit for myself. Like, we got all this internet space out here. Like, man, get this shit off of me. This like the pack. This like drugs. I do not want to hold this shit. Get this shit away from me,
bro. And And like you said, it'll just lead you to, just even energy wise, it'll lead you to that next, whatever that next thing is, because it's, you're putting something into this.
Yeah, and
This
I'm like,
world.
maybe it's somebody else out there like me who listens to, man, I listen to people's instrumentals. They got 3 plays, bro. 7 play, like frequently, all the time. Like, just searching for something to make me feel good, you know?
Right.
So I'm like, maybe something I make might make somebody else feel good. You feel me? So that's like my philosophy on putting this shit out. Like, I just hope, like, that's all I hope. I don't hope nothing else. Like, if something else happens from it, cool.
Right.
But nah, bro, I just want somebody to be able to have a better day like I did.
I feel it, bro.
Yeah.
Well, man, listen, thank you so much for coming through.
Hey, thank you,
Thank
man.
you for the conversation. I'm
Anytime,
proud of you.
bro.
I'm excited to see what's coming next.
Likewise, man. This is my I think it's my second podcast, second or third. You feel me?
Hey, man. Well, thank you for taking the time, bro.
Man, thank you for having me.
Of course, man. Well, we out.
Love.
Peace.
You dig?